if I just do some back of the envelope math based on the numbers that you just told me, it's about a 20 to 25%, give or take a percent here and there, kind of an uptick in raw material cost inflation across. I'm not even talking about the availability. How do you deal with that? Surely it can't be a 20-25% price hike. So how do you deal with that?
Okay, great. So what's happening is that we've already taken about a 7.5% increase overall when you look at the first 2 quarters, the way it has kind of panned out. In addition, we have looked at a lot of measures on formulation efficiency and looking at a very, very innovative raw material sourcing to that extent, which has kind of given us another advantage of about 2-3%, which kind of comes in because of the initiatives which are being taken there. As we look forward, I think the pace of increases in terms of the prices will go up, definitely in terms of what we see in Q3 to that extent. And also what will happen is that we are looking at very strongly focusing the product portfolio towards the premium and the luxury end so that we get higher margins, which could kind of accrue from that kind of a mix. The third area is that we look very strongly in continuing our foray in terms of the innovation in production and formulation efficiency and our manufacturing strategies in terms of what we are taking, which we feel is already given us a benefit of about 300-350 crores to that extent, and this will give us further benefits. And the last area is looking at effective cost measures in terms of what we could kind of really implement so that we are able to kind of really balance the overall growths and still get our PBDIT in the levels of about 18-20% quickly as we kind of go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Syngle, just a couple of questions more on industry-wide, because what is happening to you would be happening to, I'm sure, all the players in the paint industry, but also for India Inc. It's not usual for us to see that both HUL and Nestle, for example, who are selling sachets, are coming out and saying that there is a rural demand issue at hand as well. Therefore, my question, one, could you tell us, for example, what was the value versus volume breakup for you in Q2? And do you reckon that if you have to take further price increases to mitigate pressures, could the volumes get impacted in any fashion whatsoever?
Okay, so yes, I think what you rightly said is that the inflationary pressures are across industry. The degree varies when it comes to food inflation versus raw material inflation with respect to chemicals and so on and so forth to that extent. How we see is that in Q2, we have grown almost by 34% by volume and about 35% by value. So the volume and the value has been much closer because we have kind of focused in terms of the premium and the luxury range in a far more stronger fashion in terms of going ahead. Having said that, the CAGRs also are in double digits over 2 years and 3 years. So which kind of just shows the entire volume trajectory of the company and the focus, which has been very, very strong with respect to driving the top lines in a very, very strong manner. As we kind of go ahead, we feel that with the increases which are planned, there is definitely an impact which happens on the demand, because there is a certain elasticity of demand in terms of what you could kind of really affect. But we feel that the effect is largely more on the economy side, which really happens more because the elasticity of demand there is more sensitive as compared to the premium and luxury products going forward. But however, we see that the consumer sentiment has really opened now, given the fact that the third wave has really diminished in terms of what people think. Monsoons have been good. Overall, the festive element in October is going on quite well. Given all this, what we feel is that I think the volume growths would kind of really get focused very strongly by us, and we are confident that we will go into a double digit definitely for the coming quarters. It might not be as high as what we have seen in Q2, but I think double digits are definitely on.